Hi, everyone. Welcome to ANCAA's January meet and Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Can y'all let me know if you can hear me? I'm trying to get my tech together.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. Happy New Year, everyone, community. Good to see you all. We actually have a quorum, but we're going to go ahead and wait to get started to get a few more commissioners online and also some of our community. Tonight actually happens to be another big event, the Go-Go Awards. So I know a lot of folks are there having to fall on the same night as our meeting. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can go over tonight's agenda um, and get started. Share. And if my music is too loud, I have on the radio. Let me know. All right, so tonight we're going to be joined by the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety. We're happy to have Deputy Mayor Pia back with us. She's been to this ANC a couple of times. And so we'll have her, she's our main speaker. We'll also have some time for community updates, some MVD updates, updates from the council member's office. Sometimes we have multiple council members attend and the MOKers if they're here. Then we'll go into some votes. Our main vote tonight will be our officer elections. So we'll vote on our officer elections. We are going to vote on to add the admin and ops tech to assistance fund application because we made changes to that. And then we have a grant application from MLK Day Parade, Ward 8 Woods. I'm not sure. I don't think Commissioner Moore had a chance. She did send some of the November special meeting minutes around, but we wanted to vote for our meeting minutes, but I don't think she had a chance to finish them. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a roll call. Oh, and we are hiring. Like I said, this is the full job description for our ANCAA part-time consultant. I'll put the flyer in the chat and put the link to the full job description in the chat. But please submit your applications by February 6th because we really want to get some consulting support. So let me do roll call. 8801, 8802.
Here.
8803.
Present.
Commissioner Davis. 8805. Commissioner White is present, and 8807.
Commissioner Redmond here.
Thank you. We have 4 commissioners, so we do have a quorum. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
A motion to approve tonight's agenda. Commissioner Davis.
Commissioner Davis moves a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Seconded
Commissioner
by
Foreman.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, agenda passes unanimously. I'm going to go ahead and let us get started with some updates from the commissioners in the community before we welcome MPD and then I get our deputy mayor. For those who are joining us, please introduce yourselves. Hi, Patrick. Good evening to see you. Happy New Year's. I haven't talked to you this year, I don't think. But let us know who's in the chat. So, Commissioner Davis, do you want to start?
Community updates. I have been still working extensively with the business corridor, and I have finally got them to start working with MPD, and they have implemented a process where they're not allowing cars to stay on the parking lot for more than 30 minutes. And it's for the last month, there has been significant less traffic on the parking lot. And I just want to thank the business owners as well as MPD for facilitating that relationship with them and helping out our community.
Thank you. Commissioner Foreman.
Yes. I'm working with several older constituents in the neighborhood. They were having problems with heat, maybe water, stuff like that. And also trying to deal with the abandoned buildings we have in our neighborhood. Come to a resolution on that. We have quite a few. And also it's the trash issue in the alleys, illegal dumping like that. So that's been my main concerns. And we do have some new businesses around and just make contact with them, make sure they understand that we're here to help them and not to hinder them.
Thank you so much. For the record, I want to know Commissioner Donohue has joined. We have a Commissioner of 5. Welcome, Commissioner Donohue. Happy New Year. We're just doing Commissioner updates, but I'll come back to you after Redmond. Commissioner Redmond.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just right now going through the commissioner liaison list. There's been a lot of changes recently. So I've actually in the past couple of days been reaching out to some contacts at the liaison list just to make sure my list is current. So when people are reaching out, I have current contacts and email numbers. But my contact information is still the same. If people have any want to reach out to me, 202-696-3081. I'm looking for some constituents to help me get in contact with some utility services to get, again, some things done in the SMD. Thank you.
Well, can I add one more thing, Chair, please?
Yeah,
I
go
forgot
ahead.
to let, we have
Go
a
to you.
new store that's opening right next to Surprise Convenience Store. There will be a new beauty salon that will be opening up on that corridor. Not beauty salon, beauty supply store, beauty supply.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Donohue.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year's. It's been a quiet month. We have gone through a coat drive for students over at Boone and Kramer. Galilee Baptist Church also helped with an part of an angel tree program that they did. We were able to get some students, 10 families, I believe it was, to get Christmas gifts for under the tree for the kids. Our coat drive is still underway. We've had numerous neighbors participate, so we really do appreciate that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, commissioners. I just have a few updates. On Monday, what is it? January 12th, we just got word. We've talked about trying to organize this meeting with the Office of the Attorney General so that some issues can be highlighted that lots of people have been elevating. And so they are available to meet with us Monday virtually at 6:30. Just got the confirmation tonight. I sent the commissioners a calendar invite. So when y'all are on y'all email, y'all will see it. But we'll be sending out a link to register. The Office of Attorney General is going to focus on kind of 3 core areas, kind of like slum properties, slum lords, and then like consumer issues. And then any kind of issues around like, what do you call it? Community issues and conflict that are being had. One of the things that they're asking so that this meeting can be as efficient as it can be is that we actually send them as many of these properties or concerns in advance as possible so that when they come to the meeting with us on Monday, they hopefully can provide some updates. So I'm going to send out to the commissioners. I'll put it on our social media in the listserv. If you do not get emails from me or from the ANC, please put in the email address so we can get it. I created a Google link where we can capture some of the issues, a Google form actually, where we can capture some of the issues from the OAG. If you don't feel like doing the form or if that's too much, if you can just send them to your commissioner, you can text them to your commissioner, or you can email them to your commissioner so that we can consolidate them and have as many updates as possible. So I've been trying to get this meeting for a while. It's been rescheduled, but we're happy to have that. I want to recognize Commissioner Moore joined us, and also for the record, it was 7:04 when we did the roll call and opened the meeting. And then my other announcement from that is the Board of Elections reached out to us to remind us that ranked choice voting is going to be happening this year. And so they want to do some type of, they're trying to do more education. So I reached out to Fairlawn Citizens Association. Mr. Pressbury, please tell me if it's not the Citizens Association. And I always feel like I'm messing the name up.
It is the Citizens Association.
Okay, perfect. And the Historic Anacostia Block Association to see, because they asked to like try to get more in our community. So both of those civic organizations said that they'd be interested in doing some type of ranked choice voting education information session. So we'll be looking to plan that over the next couple of weeks and months so that our constituents and ourselves, because I don't understand how it works, I'll just be very honest speaking for myself, can be prepared for that. And I think my last update out of 8A, one from Commissioner McKinney, there's a new nail salon opening up on MLK. And I actually used to go to them when they used to go to the technician when she used to be in the market. So she's from Ward 8, Sabrina, and she's going to come visit us in a couple of weeks. But she's opening up beside Anacostia Organics where that Nomads used to be. We had Atlas Brewery open up since the last time we talked, so please go and support that. And unfortunately, Kitchen Savages said close, or is closing, which is a restaurant we would love. So those are just some announcements coming out of 8A05 and 06. So I do want to welcome Commissioner Moore. We're just doing announcements, and Commissioner McKinney, we're just doing announcements. So for the record, we have all 7 commissioners, but I want to go to Donohue and give you all a second in case you have any announcements. Commissioner Donohue.
Commissioner or Chair White, thank you because you actually reminded me of something that I really wanted to stress. We had a very, very, very good thing happen this month, in the last couple of days, actually. The big white building on 19th Street, it has been the source of much stress for a lot of people. It's been run down. 2/3 of the building have been inhabitable. Frankly, the whole building has been inhabitable. However, the 2 remaining tenants, after a year, and starting on this immediately after we were sworn in, after a year, the 2 final residents have now written agreements and will be relocated to a brand new place. One of them have agreed to actually return. They're being relocated temporarily, and then they will be returning to the new building when they are completed remodeling it and putting a new floor on it. So this is a huge property within 8A01 that encompasses most of the block, almost all the block. And so to see movement on this and to see new tenants, or to see the tenants actually moving out into a much better place to live, I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited for them, and I think it's a really good thing for 19th Street and for 8A01 in general, because this building has been the source of a lot of killings and shootings and things like that. So we're excited about moving forward. So thanks for letting me say that.
Thank you, Commissioner Donohue, for that update. I have a question for you, but you can answer in the chat. I just want to know if we heard anything back from DC Water about those homeowners. Because I remember that was an ongoing, but we can talk about it in the chat. Commissioner Moore, do you have any updates? You look very fancy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I want to give a big up to the organizations that are a part of 8802, from Gay Linters to Green Street, Project Dreams, DM3, I think it's J&J, Capitol Boys Museum. They collaborated and did a wonderful Christmas event. The children and the families were elated. They had a good time. They ate well, partied. So I was really excited to see that collaboration extend from the collaboration that we were able to do with DC Market for Thanksgiving. They continued in that same spirit and was able to do something even on a larger scale. So I just want to give them big ups and a shout out. And also to DC Market, who funded the Thanksgiving turkeys. DC Market will be reopening on January the 10th. They will be having a grand opening throughout the day, and they will be serving chicken and French fries and rice. They want the community to come out. He's really elated to share the new, remodelization of the store. They did receive their liquor license, so they will be shelving liquor in the backside of behind the glass in the store. I have not seen exactly what it looks like, but just from observation riding up and down
It's very bright and shiny, a lot of metallic and silver or whatnot. But I look forward to, seeing the new changes. The garden will be, which we call the patch, will be open to the community and the organizations if they want to host anything there. We were talking about, just having a space where we can gather and meet in the community. So he has opened that space up and made that available to us. So yeah, we're excited about that. I have been able to get some calls in my SMD and getting to know a lot more people, and therefore we're getting started as the new year is going. So it's a good start. And
Thank
that's
you,
all I
Commissioner.
have to report out.
Thank you. Commissioner McKenna, do you have any updates for the community tonight?
Not at the moment. I'm gonna come back. Let the community speak.
Appreciate you, Commissioner McKinney. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up to community updates and then any questions from the community to the commissioners. I did, and if Lieutenant Barnes is on from 7D, can you raise your hand? I just got an email from the commander. So I'm gonna start with seeing what's in the chat already, and if you raise your hand, I can elevate you. Miss Lynch, Commissioner Davis, do you know the development that is occurring across from Boone Elementary School? Has the developers reached out to 8A?
They have not reached out to me, but I know that they're building condominiums. It's not apartments, they're condos.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Commissioner Donohue, can you go after Reverend Thompson?
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Happy New
Okay.
Year.
All right. Thank you, and Happy New Year to all of you. I just wanted to share a couple of upcoming events. The first one is this Saturday. That's the Ward 8 Clergy and Faith Leaders Meeting, which will be held at Delaware Avenue Baptist Church at 1301 V Street Southeast. That's from 10 to 12 noon. We serve breakfast at 9:30. So the community is certainly welcome to come out to that. And then on the 17th of January at Covenant Baptist UCC Church will be the 8th annual MLK holiday prayer breakfast. And so we're encouraging people to do that. There is a fee for that. It's $35. And it'll be $50 the day of the event. But if people are interested, you should go to Eventbrite, or you can go to the website mlkhdc.org and get tickets through Eventbrite on the website. So we look forward to both of those, and we hope that some of you will come out. Thank you.
Ms. White, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Thank you. I have an external speaker. I be pressing. I said thank you so much, Reverend Wanda. So I'm going to go back to the chat. Miss Ivy, the Office of OANC is actually looking that up for us to find out who owns that alleyway on Morris, and then the second alleyway that's a little bit up the street on Morris, because their lawyers are looking up for it because we haven't been able to figure it out. And we'll get back to you on that. Ms. Hoyson says the Jackson Academy is having an event, Create, Code, and Animate at Sweet Tooth. Every second and fourth Saturday from 11 to 12. Thank you so much. Please let us know so we can also send that out on our social media and communications. Oh, the fee is $30. Commissioner Donohue, DC Water continues to work privately with each of the residents. Many of them had appliances in some cases that were issued, and they're following up. That's for those residents and homeowners whose stuff was destroyed. And then Xavier Brown has put a link in the chat. Xavier is from Anacostia High School in UDC. So Xavier, if you want to put in announcements, you can raise your hand and I can elevate you. And then Ann, I saw that you wanted to speak, but I need you to raise your hand so I can elevate you too for your announcement. Okay, Xavier, I've elevated you.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for letting me join you all. I'm Xavier Brown from UDC. Just wanted to share some of the programs that Anacostia High School and UDC have together. there's an early college at Anacostia High School where there's currently Anacostia students who are working towards their associate's degree while they're working towards a high school diploma as well. We have a pretty extensive hydroponics program happening in Anacostia High School, where we have like a 100-foot greenhouse that's in the back of the school by the football field where we're growing and selling vegetables. So really want to invite people to come out. I don't think too many people know about it, but please come out and tap in with us, and you can drop in and visit and ask for me. The students also have a book that's coming out in March as well. So just want to keep people updated and invite everybody out because we're trying to sell vegetables that the students have grown to community members and restaurants in the ward.
Thank you, Xavier. That's pretty amazing. I want to just elevate that Anacostia High School students have a urban farming program and they're selling microgreens and vegetables right in our community. So I really hope we can elevate that because not often we hear about the amazing things happening at Anacostia High School. And in the chat, we're asking, folks are asking, how do we get information?
Yeah, got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Xavier can drop his information in the chat, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I have toured it and I would recommend everyone to tour it. It's pretty amazing the way they've created an urban indoor hydroponics like farm. Okay. Then Anne, over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Ann Walters, and I'm the outreach coordinator for the DC Plug project. Just want to give commissioners and residents an update that we have completed the civil construction work in Ward 8 section of the DC Plug project. We're still in Ward 7, but we've completed work, civil construction work, and major restoration has been completed as well. But if residents still have some questions, they can reach out to me and I'll drop my information in the chat, the contact information in the chat.
Thank you so much, Anne. We appreciate it.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Going last call for any community updates before we get into our kind of core agenda tonight. Xavier's put his contact information in the chat. Reverend Thompson has put information in the chat about the events coming up. Oh, her church, the Ambassador Baptist Church, will have a food distribution on Saturday, January 20th from 8 a.m. to 10:30, or when food runs out at 1408 Minnesota Avenue, Southeast. Okay, Nate.
Hi. Yeah, thanks. Random question. Does anyone know if there are any development plans for the vacant lots at the corner of Marionberry Avenue and 13th Street and behind the Housing and Community Development Building?
So that is Commissioner McKinney's single member district. Commissioner McKinney, I don't know. I know you were having some tech issues. She fell off, but be back on. I'll ask Commissioner McKinney for sure. But someone did purchase that building that's on the corner, the red one. Is that what you're talking about? That has that lot behind it? Or are you talking about where the 1234 Good Hope Road?
Yeah, it's just a big lot, like an L-shaped lot. The only other thing on the block is the Community Development Building.
Oh, okay, got you. We'll follow up with Commissioner McKinney and see if more, but you know, that big on the corner of 13th and Marionberry, that was supposed to be a huge development, but it's gone back into the drawing board, and that's a part of this budget, I believe, with the mayor. I don't know if Quentin could answer that. Sorry, Quentin, to put you on the spot. To develop that corner, and I think it may be like an outdoor space that's been proposed, but I'll ask Commissioner McKinney to follow up.
Thanks.
Okay, and then Monique Kerr, I see your hand is up, so I elevated you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
All right, awesome. I just had a question with regards to the Deputy Mayor for Education. I know they were doing a feasibility study for a middle school with regards to language immersion. And I wasn't sure if we have heard any kind of updates with regards to that, or I just started joining this meeting just recently. I wasn't sure if we have any updates from that department regarding the feasibility or, yes, quick question.
That's a really good question. I don't personally have any updates. I'm not sure if any other commissioners have updates, but Monique, if you could email us, we can get back to you. We can follow up with the deputy mayor for education.
I
All right, thank
just
you.
Commissioner, I dropped a little bit of I dropped the page like because the study it looks like it's supposed to actually go through January. So it has the contact person in there if you want to reach out specifically to her, but it was going from I think it was October of 25 through January of 26. So I mean we're kind of now here, but they probably could give you a bit more information. But I did drop the link to kind of the information about the study, some different links in the chat. And then also it has the contact person if you want to reach out specifically to the right person in DME to get information.
Thank you. That is the great part about having another deputy mayor on the call tonight. So Monique, let us know if you have any difficulty hearing back or if you want us to reach out for you. Okay, wonderful. And then, like I said, folks, please put your email in the chat or email your commissioner if you are not getting our communications. And we are going to take the opportunity. I don't see anyone else's hand raised or anything else in the chat. I mean, I see some conversation, but anything for us to answer. So I think we can go ahead and get started. I don't see the 7th district online. If you are online, you can raise your hands. But now is the time if people have questions about public safety, this is really the time to answer them. We have the folks here. And so, Lieutenant Roberts, how much time do we have with you tonight? Because I think it'd be interesting to have you on the conversation because so many of the, I'm sure things are going to come around public safety.
Commissioner, you have me as long as you want, ma'am.
Okay, I want to go ahead and get started with the deputy mayor so we can kind of integrate some of these issues. So welcome, Deputy Mayor Pia. I'm sorry, your name is misspelled. I'll try to change that. Sometimes I got nails this month, so sometimes it's hard with the type. Okay. So go ahead and we're going to welcome Nicole and Deputy Mayor Pia to ANCAA. Maybe if you could just take a few minutes to introduce yourselves, because I'm not sure we have a new commission. I don't know if you can tell from the last time you were here, we have 5 new commissioners. And so maybe just take a few minutes to introduce yourselves and the department and the work that you all are doing, and then we can start our conversation. And, I think, some of the issues we're facing, and a lot of it will be what's happening in Fairlawn, specifically in the Minnesota Avenue corridor where Lieutenant Roberts is from 60, and then what's happening on Marionberry Avenue, MLK, and then some of the inner roads. And so we're going to turn it over to you, Deputy Pia and Nicole.
Sure. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me and for being here tonight at the top of the new year. Happy New Year to all of you. I'm Lindsay Pia. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice. I just passed the 3-year mark as deputy mayor. The mayor nominated me in January of 2023, and then I was confirmed by council, I don't know, May or something like that in 2023. But for those of you who don't know me, which I assume, this is that many of you don't, this is my 14th year in DC government and public safety. And in this cluster or in public safety work, I spent the first 9 years at DYRS, at the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services. For those who don't know, that's the Juvenile Justice Agency. So the agency that runs our juvenile detention facility, but also provides rehabilitative services to young people in the deep end of the juvenile justice system and their families and communities, because we know kids are a part of a family in communities. And so I spent 9 years there. I was assistant general counsel. I was general counsel. I was interim director for a while. And then I became chief of staff for the previous deputy mayor for public safety and justice in 2021 and deputy mayor in 2023. So a lot of years in public safety and justice. I originally moved to DC in 2001, so a long time ago, and have been here almost the full time since. I had a little stint in Nashville, but so just about 20 of the past 25 years I've been here in DC, in various parts of the city, and I live in Ward 1. Now, sort of in the cut of Ward 1, I'm right by the park. So yeah, it's my joy. It really is my joy to serve as deputy mayor. A little bit about our time together. I was looking back, and I think it's the start of the new year, and so we spend some time reflecting, and we certainly do that in public safety and justice. And we do that in the government. This is the mayor's final year. This is year 11 to 12 for her. And so, we really spent some time thinking about, yes, what we've accomplished, but not so we can sort of pat ourselves on the back, but so that we can see the things we haven't, and really do our best to reflect on the promises and the commitments we've made, and to see if there's ways for us to live up to those if we haven't yet. And we know there's always work to be done. I originally came for the first time, I've been a few times, I think, to ANC 8A back in 2023. And I think if everybody sort of remembers that time, it was a time where I was everywhere in the city that year, and it didn't matter where I went. Everybody was upset and concerned, and reasonably so, about where we were in public safety. It was an incredibly difficult year. And I thought every time I come to a community, I want to see how we're doing in crime. But so my background, just so you know, I have a degree in public health or community health, from Brown, and then I have a law degree. So it's kind of the public health public safety duality. And so while crime is really important and a part of what it looks like for people to be safe, the feeling safe takes more than that. And so in the public safety and justice cluster, just so people know, there are 12 agencies plus the DC National Guard. So MPD, Fire, EMS, Office of Unified Communications, Corrections, Homeland Security, Office of Human Rights, the Mayor's Office of Returning Citizens Affairs, our Chief Medical Examiner, our Department of Forensic Sciences, our Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but they're on the website. And then, and like I said, one portion of the DC National Guard sits in our cluster. And my job is to make sure that everybody has what they need in order to fulfill their really critical missions of making sure that our city is safe, and safe in a holistic sense of the word, safe from crime, but also creating conditions people can thrive. And so we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. My office also administers a few different programs, Safe Passages, which when I came in 2023, there was a lot of discussion around that. And we've done a lot of work to hopefully to expand some of the work that we were doing in Fairlawn and Anacostia with Safe Passage. And we also administer a couple of other grant programs, the Safe Commercial Corridors program, of which the Anacostia bid was a grantee last year to help make some security upgrades and improvements for businesses in the bid, and then also the safe and secure for our nonprofits and honestly primarily places of worship, because what we've seen unfortunately in our city is anti-Semitism, but also some of our historically black churches and others be really targeted with hate crimes and things like that. And so we provide a grant to really help assist there. And so those are some of the things that we do. So when we're talking about how we're doing, we talk a lot about data, and we've come a long, long way. We look back at last year, and I will say in 8A, we had a overall 26% reduction in total crime in 8A last year compared to the year before. Really, and that's really significant. That's a 28% reduction in violent crime. But I thought I would look back to 2023 because from where we started to where we come, sometimes it's hard to remember. And I would challenge us to find an ANC writ large that has greater reductions than the ones that have been experienced. It was actually kind of shocking to me when I was sitting down doing it. Since 2023, we've seen a 70% reduction in homicide in ANC 8A. We went from 23 homicides in 2023 to 7, which is too many in 2025, but still that is significant, right? We had a 41% reduction in assaults with dangerous weapons over the past 2 years, a 71% reduction in robbery, for a total of a 60% reduction in violent crime in the past 2 years. And the same in property crime, like we talk a lot about violent crime, but like, the mayor went to crime briefing with the MPD command staff a few weeks ago, and she was like, well, we don't want people getting their cars stolen either. Like that's important to us too. Like we've come a long way when we're not only talking about homicide, shootings, and carjackings, which are things that we still have and we still have work to do, but when we can actually be like, wait, okay, we really also need to be focusing our efforts on property crime. Well, in ANC 8A, since in the past 2 years, motor vehicle theft has been reduced by 46%. Theft other reduction by 58%. And property crime has been reduced by 40% over the past 2 years. And like I said, for a 45% total reduction. And I think, oh, it's all from crime cards. So I see this question here. Or I'll have Nicole drop it in the chat. You can search your ANC. You can search by a lot of different things on crime cards. You can search by PSA, ANC, ward, by nearest street. There's a lot of different ways, and so all of that's there. And I know, and I'm going to say this. There's, oh yeah, it's crimecards.dc.gov, which there's one of the things that's really important to us, and you'll hear a lot about our city and our department over the past year. We've been on a roller coaster. I will stand 10 toes down when it comes to saying the MPD is the most transparent and in an honest way data people in the country, and that there's so much politics in DC, but you can look at every incident, it's posted there, and you can see there, you can kind of look all different ways as to what's happening in your area and how we're doing and compare it year over year and all of those things. That data matters to us because it's really important for your commander, for both Commanders Hickman and Commander Boatler, to be able to know where do they need resources? Where are we still seeing, areas where they could use some support? And so we're serious about our data, but we know that that's only one piece of a lot of the conversation that we've had over the past couple of years, that, kids being able to go to school safely. Well, another thing that's important to us is every year evaluating, like we heard you, and while we can't expand everywhere, we really, when we were doing safe passage routes, working together with community to think about how can we expand coverage. And so we'll put all these resources here so you all can, especially as new commissioners, know what's going on and also know where to point people when they're asking questions, or even see for yourself the maps of where we have safe passage coverage, working with MPD and then our safe passage workers, which are community-based organizations that we grant out money to, and they bring on people with community connection to help ensure our kids get to school safely. And those maps, there's maps on safepassage.dc.gov, which I posted, so you can see where the routes are, and the routes are people moving. Like we don't need people standing in front of a school. That's not going to help kids get to school safely. Where MPD is, because MPD does safe passage. It's all there for you. And so we want to share that because a lot of that comes out of things that we heard from you, like we definitely heard. There's still work to be done. I heard things that I was like writing notes down when you all were talking, which you can't see because it's blurry, but we do a lot of one of the things that we believe, I will respond to it right now. There is absolutely not an ounce of truth, and we will say this, and the mayor said it, and we firmly support both Chief Smith and MPD that we were not misrepresenting crime facts. What we certainly got caught in, as you all can see, is DC is very much a political city, and the administration, these are political animals. But when it comes to crime, right, like there's me as deputy mayor, like I'm in the data and with them. We participated in all parts of the, the investigations, and you had dueling reports. You had the report from Democrats that said one thing, you had reports from Republicans that say another. But what we've done is, because we want our city to have confidence in what we say and do, is we've asked our inspector general in the district to look at it, because much of what was talked about wasn't actually data. It was said there was pressure for people to change it because the chief was very focused on reducing crime, and that's actually true, because that's the expectation that you all had and should have of us, that we're going to reduce crime. It does us no good to pretend that crime is reduced, because in fact, while people sort of focus on numbers, we don't focus on numbers as much as people think. Because if there's more than one, it is too many. We say that and it's real. That's a real thing for us. So I'm happy with these reductions. But we said there were still 7 people who were killed in your ANC last year. That's too many. So we celebrate reductions, but I think other people fixated more on numbers than we did, or do. I think so I kind of put that out there because it's that's a question. I mean, there's a lot of questions in here, like when people are asking about displacement and all of that, like happy to talk about that because again, moving crime, we know that that happens as you focus on efforts. I was one of the things that we've done because we really believe in whole of government solutions is we have we started this several years ago. And I know at the time, Captain Tuck Barnes and Captain Hamlin, who were your captains back in 23, really for some of our first like homicide reduction, like focused initiative, which we're still doing, which is amazing 2 years later. We brought a lot of government resources to bear. So when you were talking about things like the alleys, we immediately thought, well, maybe it's time to work with Lieutenant Roberts to bring back the multi-agency public safety task force to like get into the alleys. That consists of all of the public safety agencies, but also some of our other regulatory agencies like Department of Buildings, DLCP, which is the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection that come out with us. And then also some of our social service agencies like DBH and DHS who also come out all together so we can address some of those issues or identify them working with you all at one time. And so when I hear like illegal dumping, that's obviously something that we want to take a look at and have an opportunity to do. When I hear the work that there's issues with businesses, well, maybe there's something with DOB or licensing in the immediate that we can identify that needs to be addressed. So those are all some of the things that we're doing. There's a lot of questions and like I think what we'll do is like the specific questions about like a crime in the area, I'll leave to Lieutenant Roberts, but general strategy things, I'll tell you this, like that our response has always been this. Listen, Mr. Nelson's right. There's no one person. I may be the deputy mayor, like, but there's only one Jesus, and like I definitely am not, the savior. But what we believe is working together, we can make progress. Working with you, and your commissioners and residents, working across agency. MPD is one agency, and they've done incredible work. And I really, really like couldn't be prouder of the hard work and the focus and the commitment that they bring, especially last year, which was a really challenging year for them. There's real things that happen. I kind of think back and it doesn't always affect you all, but it affects all. Like, we have an officer in the hospital right now, right? We have an officer who passed away who died in the line of duty a year and a half ago. We had an air collision last year and all sorts of ups and downs that we navigated together and still work together to make progress. So I just say this publicly, like a huge amount of credit to the Metropolitan Police Department in very difficult circumstances to stay focused in a challenging year. But no one person is going to solve crime. Like I talk a lot about my faith. There's been, since Cain killed his brother Abel, if you know the Bible, there has been crime in the world. But so I don't think we're all going to solve it here together in the next year that I'm sitting in this chair. But I do think that we can continue to make progress. Like those numbers I gave are real. And the reason those numbers matter is they're people. That each number represents a person that's being victimized or not, right? And that really matters to us, each individual person, because we do want people to be able to thrive wherever they are in our city. One other thing that I wanted to sort of address before I kind of go through questions or give people opportunity is, one of the things that I know that comes up a lot, and there's no question, is about the methadone clinic. And there's been a lot of different, it's one of the toughest challenges we have. But there are some things that we have tried to put in place that haven't quite worked. And I think I bring it to you all because, one of the things when we sat down and, like, it's not in my wheelhouse to move the methadone clinic. We tried different things. It was all of this. But one of the thoughts that we had that is within sort of the wheelhouse of public safety was the work that Fire EMS does with their mobile integrated health. Meeting with their medical director, he was like, well, methadone is difficult. It's a difficult drug. Some of the reasons you see people as zombies is because methadone is it's a hard substance that creates that. And so we started something to try and alleviate some of what we were seeing at the clinic, and it really hasn't taken off. And the reason I'm bringing it to you all, because you may not be aware of it, it's called through our mobile integrated health unit at Fire EMS. They used to be called house calls. They are a unit that will go to people's house and they will administer buprenorphine, which is an alternative that actually is tolerated quite better. It's a medication assisted program that has had really good results, and they will do that. They will go to the home. They will go consistently. If someone were to go to the sobering center down K Street, they could get started there, and then mobile integrated health will go to their house or wherever they are. And we were like, okay, if we can't we can't figure out what to do like in public safety with the methadone clinic, what if we could kind of take some of the people, like move some people away from there? But I will tell you, we started last year and the numbers are very low. And our new medical director is trying to figure out why that is, because it's totally free. It's like this team of medical professionals who will go wherever the people are. And so I put that to you because I think, what I want to do is share those type of resources, because it's like, it only is as good as people using it. And here is, I'll kind of drop it here. Like, let's see if that actually, here's the flyer. Like, I'm sharing these things because especially you as you as AMC commissioners, the more information and resources you have, which sometimes it's overwhelming, the more you can help us make programs like this really useful. Because this one really was like a function of a conversation. The mayor actually brought in Fire EMS and the medical director and asked if there's anything we could think of to help. And this was born out of that. And like I said, it hasn't quite taken off over the past year, and we're tooling it. But I think some of it is things like this, us having conversations about, hey, like this is something else that we're trying and that's available, and like we're committed to keep on trying things to address what you all raise as very legitimate concerns. So I see some of the questions, and I think maybe I can answer them when it comes to we've made a lot of progress in a lot of areas. One of the areas that if you were to look at, our young people are still having a hard time. They are, right? And I think that that's a really holistic, I use that word frequently because I think they're struggling kind of all the way around, right? Last year we had a sharp drop in gun violence, okay? Like it was stark. And across almost all categories, we had hundreds fewer shootings last year, hundreds. But the area where we did not see a significant reduction was in the number of juveniles who were shot, or youth who were shot, or who were killed. And so you have this disproportionate amount of young people still being shot or harmed when you saw this very sharp drop in our city of adults being shot, right? Of adults being killed. And that is a problem, right? That is not what we want to see, is that the proportion of young people doesn't shift. And it's really important that we work together to address all of that, because you can see in our city, you have a very different philosophy in the administration, who is very involved in the district's affairs. And even in the laws that went up to Congress, you had a number of Democrats who voted for those as well, right? To be more harsh on our young people. We want our young people accountable, but our system is intended to be rehabilitative. We believe that. Like, you don't just throw away kids because where they're coming from. We do need to hold them accountable because they are committing harms that are serious. But how do we work with where they are developmentally or otherwise to hold them accountable, keep the community safe, and to really address what's going on? And so we have a lot of work there, a lot of work to be done there. There's things that we tried this year. MPD started a juvenile investigative response unit because one of the things that we see is, you'll see it one child like it's not uncommon, and this is deeply unfortunate to see in the missing persons, you'll if you were to like go on MPD's page, one child was run like 40 times. And you're like, what is going on here? Like, and we have young kids, you're like 10, 11, 12, or they're stealing food, or they're doing these things that you're like, there's a problem here. And CFSA has a hard time sometimes getting their hands around it. Well, in my office, we started a companion to the juvenile response unit at MPD of a team of people trained in sort of youth development to partner with DHS and CFSA and MPD on kids who it's like we need to consistently keep at what's going on. Are they ready? Is their family ready? Like, what do they need to really come around and provide that social service side? And so everything is like a work in progress and just trying things. But that's one of the things that we've done to really because we needed more intensive kind of focus on specific young people where you're like you see the same kid and like they may be released because they're not being charged or OAG is not prosecuting, but that doesn't change the fact they've been arrested 10 times and clearly something's wrong, right? Something's wrong there. So that's one of the things because I saw a question about how
Deputy Mayor, can I go to some commissioners and I'll try to
oh yeah,
pull the
sure. Yeah.
so you can speak directly. Commissioners, I just want to see if anyone wants to start with any questions for the deputy mayor, and then I'll go through the chat and try to pull some. And community, if you want to put them in the Q&A, that's very helpful too.
I did have one question. I'm sorry. This is Commissioner Redmond from 8A07, and it may be a simple question, but the kids with the high numbers, I mean, how are parents being held accountable? What more enforcement is being done to hold parents accountable for these children that are running amok in the city?
Yeah, so that's a question that we've had repeatedly over the past 2 years. And, we being mayor made proposals to like try to legislatively tighten up a little bit to make sure parents have to be involved when their children are committing certain types of offenses. And the council did not move on that. So there are tools in place, and I think this is where it is a question that you should ask of OAG, because I'll say this, and this is not about accusing, but there are tools called parental participation orders where when your young person ends up in the system, you got to participate. And I totally understand having been in the juvenile system like 9 years and then also in this position, parents get at the end of their rope. And like a lot of times by the time their kids there, they're like tired and they're kind of tapping out, but you can't. Like you've got to lean in. And so I think one of the things that I ask, and I, in 23 when things were really hard, I said, you all have to show up and tell council what you're looking for because they hear one side of things and then they think they're operating on what the city wants. And they heard something very different, which is why we had a lot of legislative changes that helped us to be where we are now. Well, one of them is like parents, these are your kids. You do need to be participating and accountable. So legislative solutions, yes. And then also OAG, use parental participation orders. And that's something that really has to come from the community because we're trying. But again, like we've got to use the tools that we have. And I would just say, like, very honestly, they're not being used because people view that as criminalizing. It's not. It's not your child. We have a rehabilitative system, but also you've got to participate because the system can never supplant or replace family and community. That's just not how it's intended to be. And so there's still a lot of work to be done, I think, in that kind of parental accountability space.
It just may sound ignorant to me. I'm a child of the 70s, and we just go back to those 10 o'clock commercials that they posted. It's 10 o'clock at night. Do you know where your kids are? Just little simple PSA announcements that really don't happen at all. And in all honesty, the program that you mentioned about the methadone and all that type stuff, in all honesty, the year that I've been here, it's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
So, in all honesty, I think it's a service that would actually benefit in my particular SMD. I don't see a PDF, a flyer, or anything. So I appreciate knowing about that. So it's something, I appreciate you sharing that tidbit of information. But PSAs, I think going out there and putting some money out there, going back to the old fashioned ways, we got to go back to a community and servicing that way. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
and so
Thank
we'll
you.
work on that because you're completely right. I've said this, and I think that we will admit like our communication is not our strongest point because you sort of say things one time and then, there's an announcement and then people don't hear about things. And so I think there's work to be done. One of the things like is how we bring on ANCs, right? Like commissioners and making sure we're providing. We used to do, and it's I'll take this on that we haven't updated them in a while, sort of one pagers of resources for each ward so that you knew who was who. But I think this is something we can work on too with Mokers because there is so much available. And I know that you all probably haven't heard about that because I'm like, it just doesn't make sense that we're having such a hard time
Oh,
getting people
we've
to engage
asked.
with a program,
We've
right?
asked.
Yeah.
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 Let's go to a few more commissioners. So actually, I want to go to Miss Ivy and then Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Donohue. You're off mute, but I don't know if you have your hand up. Okay, so we're going to go to Miss Ivy, then Davis, then Donohue.
Hi, good evening. I had put it in the chat. I was just wondering about that carry out. I think it's 2403 Martin Luther King Avenue, Southeast. A couple of the neighbors have reported before. It has graffiti. It's an eyesore for the community. Nobody really goes there. It's like a hangout. It has graffiti on the window. It looks very filthy. If you look in Google, it has 2.5 stars. Just see if we can do something with that space, to build. And I also wanted to know what happened to the Starbucks.
So Starbucks closed a lot of their what they call community something across the nation. It wasn't just here in Anacostia, so that's kind of unfortunately what happened. And then about the carry out, I don't know if that's something Lieutenant Roberts can address. Where
We
is it
can look
again?
into it. She said 2403
20,
MLK. Like we can sort
yeah.
of see what can be done. Because I mean, he might be able to address it, but she's talking about graffiti and things. Like we're happy to sort of work.
Yeah, and that's not in 6th District. Sorry,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Roberts. That's in the
Ward 8.
yeah, that's in the 70. So
We'll try and figure
okay.
that, like find out. I wrote it down. The address, we'll get some information and figure out what's
Yeah,
going
it's right there by the police academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 70. Okay, Commissioner Davis, then Donohue.
Hi, thank you for coming and Happy New Year's. My question is pertaining to the Minnesota Avenue Business Corridor. We have constant drug dealing that's taking place, and the Minnesota Business Avenue Corridor is directly across the street from Boone Elementary School. And my question, in the interest of public safety, what can you offer us to help clean up that corridor? Like maybe something like more closed circuit cameras. I noticed that we got a new one installed, but it's like 2, 3 blocks down the street. And I'm not sure if that is going to be sufficient to address all the criminal activity that's taking place directly in front of the businesses as well as the school. And when you say public safety, our kids should come first. So we should be focusing more attention and keeping these kids safe, and they shouldn't be walking past the influx of drug dealers as well as addicts and prostitution. And that corridor right there has a significant amount of that activity that is taking place, and our children are bearing witness to that type of behavior. So I just want to bring that to your attention, and hopefully we can start focusing on rectifying the issues that are plaguing our community over there, especially our children.
Yeah, like so I'm writing this down. So we're in the process. We've kind of in the past year doubled our CCTV. And I think that what we're doing is rolling out in sort of groupings of 50 so we can check on location and like adding more CCTV because it's important and you're right. And the reason we're doing them in groupings of 50 is just supply chain. Like that's how we're able to get them. And because I think we'll be tripling before the end of the year, the number of CCTV we had available to put in places. But I know we have mobile units and things, so let me check on that. When it comes to like drug activity, I think there's a lot we can do, and that I'll work with your commander on because we had on 7th and T, which is a neighborhood, kind of down in Northwest where there's a significant amount of drug activity. One of the sort of basic things, there was Cleveland Elementary across the street, and people kept asking why are we letting drug activity? And everyone knows, I mean, it was there a long time, right? Like, I mean, it's like
Right.
one of the places where it's been a long time. And I think that was sort of the answer. Well, it's been there a long time. It's very difficult, but you will see a very different thing. There were simple things that we hadn't done, like put up the actual drug-free zone signs around the school so that MPD could enforce it. And it was like such a simple thing, but it was not done, and they couldn't enforce, the permanent drug-free zone until we did that. And when we put it up, they then could push people and then did a lot of targeted and sustained enforcement. So we have seen it work, right? Like it takes that. And so I'm happy to sort of take that on and because yes, like we can't do permanent drug-free zones because the statute won't allow, but we can keep cycling them through because again, the interesting thing, right, is drug-free zones, when we first started them, I proposed them and people were like, oh, they're not gonna, like, people hate them. But they've been very effective and the community hasn't kind of railed against them because they work. And so let me take on like this combination of CCTV enforcement because we need to enforce and then also kind of see what we're doing with signage with drug-free zones and others over there because we have had success in other places. It takes a lot of work and a lot of coordinated effort, but you're right, it is worth it for our kids and for our community.
Are schools not permanent drug-free
They
zones?
they are, but in the statute, in order for for MPD to enforce it as such, there has to be signage designating them as such. And so, like we went to DDOT and asked, did they have any drug-free zone signs, which they had, because DDOT does the signage for the city, they had them. We put them up around the school and then they can enforce it. It's like little nuances that you just don't know. We were like, well, it's a school zone. Why? In the statute, it says there has to be signage up even around these areas. And so yeah, they are schools are drug-free zones, but it requires that there be signage. So that MPD can enforce.
Can we put those signs not just only on the school, but like there's supposed to be 1,000-foot radius around the school, right? That constitutes the drug-free zone. So we could get those put out in that area that's around the schools to cover that
Like we'll
drug-free
go
zone.
out. I'm happy for us to go out and do an assessment of whatever's going to make, because like really we do it with DDOT to figure out what's going to make the best sense to make sure that like we're enforcing that MPD can enforce what the law allows them to enforce. And so we'll take that on as and this was at the time like we were looking at several schools. And so I see Savoy, like people are raising Savoy. We know Savoy, like this is a conversation we're having about it, but happy to take on both of those.
Well, can we continue this conversation at a later date? But can I call you so we can?
Yeah, of course.
You can come out and look at the community.
Yes.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Donohue?
Deputy Mayor, thank you for joining us today. Happy New Year. Tom Donohue with ANC 8801, Boone Elementary, which is the school that Commissioner Davis is speaking about, is in my territory, and I share all the concerns that Commissioner Davis has expressed, and I will double everything she said. One of the things we'd like to see, earlier in the year, we know that there were two different meetings that were scheduled with the mayor to come out to our SMD. And we were certainly looking forward to the opportunity of talking with the mayor and showing the mayor these specific locations. And both of those meetings were canceled. And so I'd like to personally extend that invitation to you and to the extension of the mayor to come back out and reschedule that meeting and walk with Commissioner Davis and I and all the other commissioners within our ANC to personally see firsthand what's going on, and I hope that that we'll be able to do that. Just a couple of quick things. I made some notes. Thanks for talking about safe passage. I know it's something that we're missing over at Boone Elementary. And I know that I'm hoping that it's going to be added I had a great opportunity to speak to about 7 of your Safe Passage team members out in front of Kramer Elementary right on right around New Year's. And they, I wanted to learn a little bit more about, what they were doing. And I think that we as a community and the government should do a better job at informing the citizens about what Safe Passage actually is and what they do. I don't think that we do a very good job of that. In fact, I learned a lot just from talking to them, but I also talked to them about the fact that that jobs like that can also turn into, and it should be encouraged by the district, that Safe Passage folks be considered for the violence interruption program or other areas in which, because they're the eyes and ears of the community, during schools. And so a lot of times they, and they talked about when I was talking about this, the relationship that they would like to create more with the students. These are the people that are sitting out on the street every day, seeing these students coming and going every day. And I think that is a great bound, sort of basis to start relationship building, just as much as we want to see, community policing. I'm going to be very honest with you and tell you, we have an officer, Officer Pierce, that stands at the corner of 22nd Street and Minnesota nearly every single morning. And the reason I'm talking about this is because that's great community policing. I have seen it over and over again that this officer knows those that walk by that school every day. He hears, that is true community policing. He's there every day, and we don't see enough of that. I'd like to see our community become, seeing our officers on the streets, getting out of the cars. Too often I'll see officers, sitting in cars along Fairlawn where there's no activity or there's no traffic. What we need to do is get the officers, like Officer Pierce, out onto the streets and on a regular basis so that they can continue to create that relationship with our community. And especially the damage that has and continues to be done with our community and MPD when it comes to these jump out crews and ICE being involved. It's heartbreaking when you see one of your own constituents being torn off the streets and turned over to ICE for after a simple traffic violation. And so that continues to be a great concern of mine as well. Just real quick, break-ins at Boone Elementary. We have nearly a brand new school. It's a couple years old, but we continue to have break-ins at Boone Elementary. Is there any way that you guys can work with DCPS to investigate why and how these break-ins are occurring, and commit to making sure that the fences are fixed or wherever needs to be done? I mean, we've had multiple break-ins at the school. I'm all about CCTVs. So the more cameras you can get up on our streets, I think it's very effective, and I encourage you to continue to do that. The last thing I wanted to ask is actually sort of looking into the future. And I really want to stress to our neighbors and our constituents the importance of this next election. Not only, and I'm very concerned about it, to be honest with you, I implore our citizens and our neighbors to get to know the candidates. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing over the course of the next year,
Commissioner, can I just pop in before you do that? Like, just because it's just, because that's outside. That doesn't have anything to do with me, Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice. So a few things. One is on Safe Passage. I put the website there. And so, yes, actually, what we consider Safe Passage is part of our credible contact continuum on a daily basis, multiple times a day. There is connectivity that we facilitate between our Safe Passage workers, our violence interrupters, our law enforcement partners. That is what we do every single day because we do consider them the eyes and ears. And so part of what has allowed us to drive down crime at a time where, quite frankly, we have a 50-year low of officers while we had, kind of increasing crime is that type of connectivity of working together. We have done a lot of work, and we're happy to share of what our safe passage workers are trained in. We give them youth development. We give them a safe crisis management. We give them, de-escalation, all sorts of trainings, both on a monthly basis, on a pre-service, over breaks, so that they actually can. You're going to find varying people have different levels of comfort with engaging with young people. So we continue to train them to be that, and some are more comfortable than others. But when it comes to being out of their cars, I think our officers, it is obviously the expectation they're out of the cars, and they've worked really hard. We've worked hard on that. It's not perfect. And there may be reasons sometimes that you don't understand why an officer is in their car. It's always important that community engagement is a key part of policing, right? Like right now, our motto is policing with purpose, serving with care. And so whether it's community walks, whether it's being here present, whether it's seeing at our schools, that's an important part of it. But I think there's a mixed bag. Sometimes there are reasons why MPD officers are in their car. They're working a lot, they're tired, or there may be something going you unaware, but we always are going to encourage them to be out, to be engaging with community, to be to getting to know people. And so that's, we firmly agree that no matter who it is in government, like, we have a responsibility to serve and to engage in that way. So those are just some of the things. I think it comes down again to the same thing: information, and making sure we're getting that out, because whether it's the trainings we do, or how everybody in our credible contact continuously call what their roles are and how they all work together, and they really do, in a way that's really helped us in the past year or two to really address and drive down some of the crime, some of the fights we've seen with kids, some of the knowing when they're going to have these large takeovers, all of these things that we've kind of had to work together to work through.
Yeah.
The last question I was just going to ask is, I'm curious what your thoughts would be on your successor. What qualities would you see? Well, my concern is that.
That's a great question. It really is. Could we maybe ask her that in the chat? Just because we do want to make sure we get to some of the other folks. And I think trying to stick to the was night. And then we had Commissioner Moore, but I think it's a good question you can put in the chat, and maybe if the deputy mayor wants to answer. Commissioner Moore, I did see your hand raised for quite a while. You did put something in the chat. Did you want to come off mute? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll try to make this very quickly. And I thank you for elaborating on the violence interrupters, the credible messengers. But oftentimes, I don't see where the wraparound services is picking up. So if they're providing you with data, reports, I'm sure they have to put some type of report in. That's part of their training. How are they then assessing the individual to get them housing, or to get them counseling, to get them an ID? I've heard something as simple as an ID has discouraged someone from going back to school to get their GED. So they hung out on the corner another day and another day, until eventually they just got locked up. But the what they were trying to pursue at the time was simply an ID. So how are we taking that information and data, if they're being assessed by these violence interrupters and credible messengers, and then actually providing the wraparound services, and not just the community hoo-ha, where they're coming out with speakers and cookouts and doing that stuff, but they're not showing up and providing them with the next step to alleviate the issue of why they just hanging outside.
Yeah, so it depends on what you're talking about, right? Like, so when you're talking about violence interrupters and those who they're working on, like, we've worked to try to be sort of specific on identifying those we know who are most at risk for engaging in gun violence. And it's not actually the violence interrupter's job to provide the wraparound services. What we believe is it's us as a government. And so what their responsibility is to identify, right, who is most at risk at gun violence, to be trained to understand and to do some of the assessment. But we also have case managers, right, who are a companion to the violence interrupter to help identify. What we know is this is, like, almost all of our people need some form of like CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy, but they also need a job and a place to live. And those are two of the hardest things to actually meet, right? But some of that work is done through, hey, well, if they're ready to be in pathways at which is a longer term program at once, great. If they're not, where are they on the spectrum? Where do we actually need to refer them? And we being not the violence interrupter, because these are often people who are well intentioned or who have community connection, but we, as a government, they're really supposed to be referring back to us so that we're ensuring that, you know, all of these programs that are funded in unemployment space or otherwise are being utilized. So that's really what it is the connection between violence interrupter, whether it's people in my office who are working with young people, ensuring that we are linked in and coordinated, because wraparound services should be coming from the government or at the very least from contractors and those who the government is providing funding for to do these specific things. So we don't. What we're really working on is not expecting the violence interrupter to be all and end all, because what we were finding and is that we weren't driving down gun violence because the VIs were having a hard time focusing on the people most at risk of gun violence because they were trying to solve every problem that they can't and make promises they can't keep. And so we've really worked on refining that. What do we have in our toolkit that is going to address what's leading those most at risk of gun violence to committing offenses? That is somewhat different from why, you know, a 15-year-old, a 35-year-old, that's a totally different thing. But that's some of what we're doing is trying to make sure that the government is accountable to do the work that we are and using our community-based partners to help us identify, but not to be the full service provider.
Yeah, and that wasn't my point. My point was how is the collaboration of the agency and the violence interrupters through their reports? So, you know, if they're putting certain information in a report, does an agency get pinged and then do the agency actually follow up with them? I'm wondering if the gap is there.
Yes. So if it's a violence interrupter, they're all granted out through ONES. So ONES is the single agency right now that has both Cure this year and the various organizations that are doing violence interruption. So there's reporting that's done like daily, weekly, and those reports are reviewed either through our shooting review process, through the regular ONES review process. So yes, that's feeding back into the agency directly. If it's safe passage, which is a little different, those things feed to us, me being my office and my team that oversees safe passage so that we can identify what's needed and help to get it to the right agency, because we're not a service delivery agency, but I'm a deputy mayor and we're a deputy mayor's office. So we're connected to all of the service delivery agencies and making sure, usually, to be honest with you, there's very few people who encountered who don't have some touch, a case manager somewhere. There may have been a lack of like a break in their kind of connectivity. And so it's trying to get them reconnected to their case manager at DHS or DBH or DOES or all these various places people have touches.
Okay, the last thing is, are those metrics available, like the sounds of the crime cards? Are we able to look at those metrics from the agency and the services that are being connected through the VIs and one's office?
So you're not going to see the metric. You'll see there are different places that metrics are for ONES. A lot of it is in the performance documentation that they'll put up, but we'll make sure if there's specific things you're looking for, because agencies have various amounts of things on their websites. Some of these things are in the agency performance reports that are all on the city administrator's officer and city administrator's page, and you can kind of look at the various like metrics of kind of what the agency's performance plan, what they're being measured on, and how they're doing.
All right, y'all asked some really, really good questions, and thank you, Deputy Mayor, for staying with us for about 45 minutes or so and going through them. I have a kind of a question invitation because I don't want to hold you. You know, we've been talking about kind of issues that are happening really in the same areas. Some are systemic, let's just be honest. They've been there for 50 years, deeply ingrained, very complicated, very complex. But I also think there are some short-term and low-hanging fruit that can be done to bring about some alleviation, including removing the methadone clinic, even though that is complex. But you know, the Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services was here with us in November, right? Yes, it was November. And they committed to, having a follow-up meeting with the community to talk about what could be done that's low hanging. And we had discussed having like an integrated plan, realizing you all have 11 months left, right? Could we ask you to coordinate and we do a joint one to see in the next 10, 11 months, like in the short term, like can be done and come up with some really solid things? And I think going back to what Commissioner Donohue said, we could use that opportunity to even come up with this needs to be carried over in another administration. And if we're really strategic, we could use that when people are coming to us about who and hold them accountable to it. Because we just know within the next, 6 to 9 months what's realistic, right? And that could impact.
We can do that. And the more specific we can be, the better. Because I actually went back, so Commissioner Donohue might not know this, but ANCAA did meet with the mayor at the Wilson Building. I think it was in 2024. And we actually I think we had done a walk. These years are all melding. Like we had done a walk that year, the mayor had come out and did a walk, which to be honest with you, this past year the mayor likes doing these walks. There was a lot that happened in the district in the second half that kind of, many of the plans that we had required trying to hold on to home rule, y'all. But we're here and we did it. But yeah, so we'll pull out kind of all of those because I was looking at I think it was what you sent Commissioner White after that, actually. So, but yes, I'm happy to do that. We're happy to connect with
it'll be helpful. So we'll follow up via email, maybe with Nicole, and loop you and Nicole into that conversation with Director Bass. She's kind of organizing it.
We'll connect with Rachel Joseph, who's now the chief of staff, and the former chief of staff who's back for DMHHS, and that will help get things coordinated and moving in the MHHS cluster. Okay,
that's perfect, and we'll follow up. And yes, I think a lot the new commissioners know this has been kind of long standing. And speaking of last terms, this is my last term too. But I'm gonna write.
Well, you have been a staunch advocate for your community. Have served incredibly well over many years. So appreciate your service for sure, Commissioner White.
Too. And Lieutenant Roberts, I know a lot of these questions for MPD got answered, but we did have a question in
about
the chat.
Galen, the shooting. I'm leaving the Galen shooting to him.
Well, I know that's 7 districts. I don't know if that's something we can look into or not, or we're going to have to follow up with Commander Butler. And then
Robert's
I think
we've been trying to touch it. He's like, nah, like the 60.
He's frozen. Yeah.
Oh, he's frozen.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. They asked about a shooting at Galen Terrace. I know that's in 7D, but if you could.
Yeah, the shooting on Galen Terrace is in the 7th district. Unfortunately, I don't have specific information to provide you. I do know that it's part of an ongoing investigation. Is there anything else they would like to know about the particular shooting?
I think they just had, if you had any updates, and maybe Commissioner Moore can follow up. Commissioner Moore, I'll connect you to Butler so you can follow up.
She's she used the French. She used the French pronouncement, the French pronunciation.
I lived in like francophone countries for a decade almost. But Aaron, could you reach out or put your email in the chat so when we reach out to the commander, we can copy you on that response? That would be great. Or send it to Commissioner Moore. She's 8A04@anc.dc.gov. I'll drop it in the chat for you, Aaron. Okay. Any other questions real quick for the commander? I do want to make sure we do our elections down that we do have a full quorum. Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Nicole. We're glad to hear you. Okay, great, Aaron. Thanks. While we do have all commissioners on, I know it's a couple of other things going on at the same time while everybody has connections so that everybody can participate. But any other questions for Lieutenant Roberts? And I'm going to come back. We'll do Nate, then Councilmember White's office, finish our votes, and close out for the night. Sorry, y'all. Okay, thank you, Lieutenant Roberts. You can stay or you can leave us. Up to you.
Thank you all. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you all for all your hard work, especially you, Commissioner. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'll see you guys on the next meeting. And always remember to be safe, stay safe, be aware of your surroundings, and take care, everyone.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Okay, now.
Okay, so we're going to welcome up Mr. Pressberry. Let's thank Mr. Pressberry, who is the president of the Fairlawn Citizens Association. And Mr. Pressberry is going to run our, hi, Mr. Pressberry, Happy New Year. Good to see you. Going to run our elections for tonight. ANT8A is going to be electing 4 officers for the 2026 year. That is January through January, actually, because it goes a whole year. And Lieutenant Roberts, people are asking for your contact in the chat. Oh, Commander Butler, we'll come back to you after we do our officer elections from the 7th District. Just so you know, people are asking about the Galen Terrace shooting when we come back to you, Commander. That's what they're asking about. Okay, so we have 4 positions. We have chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. We have talked about bringing back the sergeant at arms position, and we will discuss that. I propose we discuss that during the admin and then add that for a February or March vote to bring back the sergeant of arms position. That position really helped the chair during the meeting with flow and helping to control the chat and helping to control the Zoom and stuff like that. So that's something that has been kind of requested to come back, but it hasn't been talked about. I think somebody sent it out in an email. So I think we have all commissioners here. I'm gonna do a roll call real quick. 8801.
Here.
8802.
Here.
8803.
Present.
8804.
I am
Present.
805. Present. 8806.
Present.
8807.
Here.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Okay. The way it's gonna go, Mr. Pressberry, he is the chair for this. So how he says is final. We act, do not interrupt. We don't have election speeches. The commission has talked a little bit internally about who wants to do what. And then when Mr. Pressberry asks for nominations, if you want to nominate yourself, you can. If you want to nominate somebody else, you can. If you do get nominated, you have to accept the nomination. So that's one of the things to remember. You got to accept the nomination. So, and this is all for the notes, and Freya's like note taker too. So that's why I'm saying so detailed. So over to you, Mr. Pressberry.
All right, maybe this can go pretty quickly. Nominations for the chair.
I would
like to nominate Commissioner Tammora Redmond would like to nominate Commissioner Jamila White as chair.
Are there any other nominees for the chair? All right, thank you very much. Should we go ahead and vote on the chair since there are no?
I'll say I accept the nomination with the caveat that we will find a new chair in March because this is my last year and it's really important for commissioners who are going to return to take the chair over the last year so I can help you all build systems. So I will accept it with the caveat for just 3 months while the commission figures out who's going to take over as chair.
All right, if there are no
Chair White.
Yeah, go ahead.
I meant to look at it before we got online. Does our bylaws allow that? Can we make that stipulation?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't have to be an actual vote. What'll happen is we'll do a new vote because I'll step down.
Okay.
We'll do a new vote and it has to be publicly advertised. And Mr. Pressberry hopefully will come back and hold a new election.
Okay, thank you.
No, we can't just do it without a new vote. No, Commissioner Donohue. No, thank you.
So, Ms. White, would that be considered a resignation?
In 3 months. In March, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So before we proceed with the other offices, can we accept Ms. White as chair by acclamation?
Yes.
Is there any objection to that?
No.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you very much,
No objection.
Madam Chair. All right, Vice Chair, nominations for Vice Chair.
I would like to nominate Commissioner. I'm sorry, I just went brain dead. Robin McKinney, Commissioner Robin McKinney, nominated by Commissioner Davis.
Accept the nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other nominees for vice chair? Then, hearing none, I ask that we accept Commissioner Robin McKinney as vice chair by acclamation. Are there any objections?
No objections, no.
No
Thank you.
objections. Agreed.
For the office of secretary, any nominations for the office of secretary?
Yes, I nominate Commissioner Davis for secretary.
I accept. Commissioner Davis is accepting.
Are there any other nominees for the office of secretary?
Oops.
Hearing none, I ask that we accept Commissioner Davis for the office of secretary by acclamation. Any objections?
No.
Thank you. And finally, for the office of treasurer, who are the nominees for the office of treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Anthony Foreman. This is Commissioner Davis nominating Commissioner Foreman.
Are there any other nominees for the office of treasurer? All right, hearing none, I ask that we accept Commissioner Foreman as treasurer by acclamation. Are there any objections?
No.
Thank you. Now we have our officers for the 2026 year. Chair, Commissioner White, Vice Chair, Commissioner McKinney, Secretary, Commissioner Davis, and Treasurer, Commissioner Foreman. Thank you very much.
Thank you for presiding.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, and like I told the community, we're probably going to bring back a sergeant at arms, so we'll be having another election also to replace the chair. Okay, we're going to get back to the meeting now that we have the 7th district on. Commissioners, is it okay if I just ask the commander to go ahead and appreciate you for being here. There were some questions around Galen Terrace shooting, and I think Miss Ivy, can you put your question for the commander in the chat around the carryout that you was talking about? We had the deputy mayor, Lindsay Appiah, on with us tonight. So she stayed with us for about an hour and answered a lot of questions, Commander. But over to you.
Sure. So Captain Pulliam is out of town, which is why she's not on the call. She'll be back in office, I believe, tomorrow morning. So she'll be back on for next month's meeting. So there's only 2 events that occurred down in Galen Terrace since you guys have briefed out last. There was no shooting. There was a shot fired, but it did not hit anybody. And I'll describe those 2 events. So the first was actually 2 back-to-back events. One happened Monday on the 29th of December. It was a stabbing and a burglary. One of the residents of 1645 awoke to somebody walking through their apartment. That victim tried to fight off the person that was in their apartment and ended up getting stabbed, not shot. The very next, and this was inside of an apartment. The very next day, at 1645 W Street in the hallway, we had a couple young men that we believe live in the building, lured somebody there to essentially buy some high-end tennis shoes. It was a ruse. There was never an intent to buy the shoes. The subject, who was not from the area, came there to allegedly buy the shoes while inside the building. and two young men who were believed to have come out one of the apartments, pistol whipped him. They tried to rob him, but he ended up getting away. He ran out to his car, got in his car, and drove away. As he was driving away, he reported hearing one gunshot being fired. It never hit him or his vehicle. We believe that was probably out of frustration from the folks that tried to get what they wanted and didn't get. Nonetheless, we are making progress in both of these cases, and that's kind of where I'll leave it. And we believe that we'll be able to bring both of them probably to conclusion with arrests sometime soon. Because of the nature of the investigation and the information we have, I can't really share a lot more than that, other than to say we do have suspects in these cases and we think we'll be able to close them. So I hope that's sufficient for now.
Thank you so much. We got some folks in the chat thanking you.
Yep.
Let's see if we have any questions for the 7th District Commander tonight. And community, you can either raise your hand or put them in the chat. Commissioner Moore, I know that was your question. Did you have any follow-up?
Yeah, I do have a question. So I'm curious to know that if there's any reports or any information that you could provide us from police officers who are typically staged outside of the corner store on 16th and W. Is any of the activity from Galen apartments in correlation to the activity of the corner store? Like, has there ever been reported any correlation of like drugs or alcohol or misconduct in correlation to that corner right there at the corner store?
So the short answer is no, right? It's very difficult to form a correlation between a business and activity that may be occurring on a property, away from that location. Typically, what we do when we look at businesses as potential nuisances, we have to form a correlation of drugs, guns, or prostitution happening inside the actual establishment, right? That's very difficult to do in many, many cases. Now, do the presence of liquor stores or corner stores that may draw nefarious activity spill over into community? Of course they do, right? That's a common, that's pretty common, and it can happen. Not every business is nefarious. Not every business, leads to, nefarious activity. However, if and when that activity occurs, trust me when I tell you, we follow up with investigations and we make arrests of those business owners when there is illegal activity, right? A good example of that are the illegal marijuana shops, right, that are selling, without licenses and are selling illegally out of their establishments. We execute search warrants on those all the time, right? But the corner store itself that sells food and beverage, typically not, unless they're engaged in illegal activity, right? We have corner stores throughout the district. One I can speak of recently up on Martin Luther King Avenue that sells, snacks and beverages, but was also selling hand-rolled marijuana cigarettes from underneath the counter, right? We were able to shut that place down about 2 weeks ago as a result of that illegal activity. So when we find illegal activity happening in legitimate businesses, we act on it. So we have looked at that corner store. We have not found anything that correlates to illegal activity at the moment. But trust me, if we do, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Commissioner. Nate.
Oh yeah. Hi, Nathan Harrington, Ward 8 Woods Conservancy. I just wanted to ask if you've made any arrests for illegal dumping in recent months.
So hey Nathan, I spun up when I got to 70 a year ago. I spun up an environmental crime unit. It's you may know them. It's Officer Andrea White, and then Officer Alan Thompson. We've submitted some arrest warrants to the Office Attorney General in a couple cases. I don't have any specifics on the outcome of whether the warrants were signed or apprehensions have been made. We have made arrests for illegal dumping, but those are ones that we catch in the progress. Most of our cases come after the fact, Nathan, where we're getting a call somewhere where there's already, a pile of trash and, tires or whatever else, discarded somewhere that it shouldn't. Not to give away our secrets, but it's not very sexy, right? What we do is we literally will go through the trash. We do what's called a trash pull, a trash dissect, right? Where we'll put on hazmat suits and gloves and we go through it. And believe it or not, folks that dump trash illegally will leave their own receipts and mail matter with their name on it and address on it. And sometimes it's as easy as going to the address and mirroring up the vehicle sitting out in front of the house with the vehicle we have on camera leaving the location of the dump site, right? So I can say that yes, we have made progress with this unit since I stood it up, but it probably feels like a drop in the bucket in the larger scheme of things. But yes, we are making cases.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Environmental crimes is a huge problem, and maybe that's something, Nate, I'm not sure if you're going to attend the meeting we had with the Attorney General, but that you could bring up, especially in, well, all of our S&Ds, but, 8807.
The illegal dumping itself is a problem, but what drives me even more crazy, right, is watching the just excessive littering that occurs within Ward 8, right? And I say Ward 8 because that's where I'm at right now. When I was up in 3D, I saw the same thing up there, right? But the gall of folks to just roll their car windows down and dump trash out of their cars sitting at traffic lights, it just drives me absolutely batty. That is a very hefty fine. And I know my environmental crime team, when they're out and about and they see it, they're writing people some pretty hefty tickets when they see that happening. So, unfortunately, I don't like using, fines and tickets, to have to change behavior, but sometimes that's what it takes, right? If I get a $500 ticket for throwing a bag of trash out my car window, I'm probably not going to do that again, So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Ann, did you have a new question for MPD or the commissioners? I see your hand raised.
Oh, no,
Okay.
no, sorry, no.
Okay. No worries.
Thanks,
All right.
thank you.
Commander, we appreciate you attending tonight. We were able to answer a lot of stuff through the deputy mayor, which I'm sure she'll follow up. But she
Well,
said
thank you very much, Commissioner, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Pia, for being online. I mean, she's the best that has ever done it. So we're in good hands there. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, y'all, we are gonna make our way through the rest of our meeting. We do have Nate. Nate, I'm gonna turn it over to you from Ward 8 Woods, who has applied for a grant from the ANC that we're gonna vote on tonight. And then we'll have Councilmember Chair Watt's office before we finish out our votes.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you know Ward 8 Woods from work, picking up trash, remediating invasive species in all the forested areas around Ward 8 and neighboring parts of Ward 7 and Prince George's County. We do a lot of the sort of maintenance work that DC government or National Park Service should be doing, but isn't. Some of the areas within ANC 8A that we are trying to visit on a semi-regular basis, at least once every couple of months to clean out trash, are along Marionberry Avenue, along Altamont Place, Naylor Road, Hunter Place, Morris Road, Bruce Place by Woodland, some of the smaller patches that are in the vacant parts of Berry Farm. It's a lot of territory that we're trying to cover, and it takes a lot of money to keep our crew of 5 paid and working. We are not allowed to use ANC funds to pay anybody. So the request that we submitted is to support some of the other needs that require to keep that program going. It's 1,500 total. We're requesting $500 for trash bags, gloves, and tools and other supplies. $380 for outreach materials. You've probably seen our signs that we put up in all the areas that we take care of. Trash doesn't go on the ground. AMO, don't litter. Trash free DC, don't trash DC. We would use some of the funds to continue installing more of those signs around ANC 8A. We're asking $400 for insurance. We have to pay several $1,000s worth of insurance every month for our Park Steward program, and then $400 for gasoline because we have a pickup truck that we have to operate, and we have all the trash that we gather we have to haul to Fort Totten dump, and then bring the truck back and reload it. The work that we do within ANC 8A is just one part of our larger portfolio of areas that we're trying to maintain. But this grant that we're requesting would help sort of offset the cost, some of the cost of the work that we do within that ANC.
Thank you, Nate. And I think you all had also agreed to do the alleys.
Yes.
Yeah. And some people are asking for the newsletter sign up for Ward 8 Woods in the chat. So,
Yes.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to commissioners. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Nate? We'll vote after Councilmember Trayon White's office. Donohue, Davis, Redmond, Foreman, Moore.
I would just like to make sure to thank them again. I know they continuously do work in Ward 8, and I know I've done work alongside of, when I've called them and said, hey, we're going to do a cleanup day, they definitely, there's somebody out there with us. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Something that all of you can do to help us be more effective in maintaining those areas is to let me know if you see an area that's particularly messy. Of course, you can submit 311 requests if there's big dumping. But if there's just kind of litter distributed throughout an area, they're probably not going to do that. Ward 8 Woods can get that done much more quickly and efficiently. And because I'm trying to inspect and visit different places, but I don't have eyes everywhere. So please help share that information and we will get it done promptly. I will also drop in the chat information about our volunteer events, which are on the first and second Saturday of every month.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Davis?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Commissioner Redmond?
I think you might have had a meeting with Nate some time ago. Unfortunately, I do have an area over here in 8A07 that has a lot of Ward 8 signs up, but your signs are up in some of the worst areas in my SMD. So I'm a little bit embarrassed about your signage advertising that's what you're doing, but yet those areas are some of the worst in my SMD. So yeah, if you could like to definitely be able to have some kind of conversation outside of this so we can get on top of that.
Yeah, let me know where it is and we'll be right on it.
I do have.
Altamont is one, but that whole area around Altamont, you have a whole bunch of signs around all around that whole national park, off of the T Street, 23rd and T, and everything. And your guys came out here one time and tried to assist me, but unfortunately, they hit a beehive, and the worker got stung, and nobody ever came back. So, and that's been hard to get in contact with that particular point of contact since then. So I definitely appreciate a follow-up. Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Davis?
I wanted to ask the question. We have two small parks, Triangle Park, and we don't have anyone to clean the park. So the community and mainly myself has been going out there cleaning up the park on a regular basis, and it's a constant problem. So if any way you can just add that location to your list and help us out a little bit, right there on Minnesota and Naylor.
Minnesota and Naylor?
Yes,
sure.
those two parks right there.
And Nate, I think, the commission, maybe like commissioners, if we could commit to like maybe within a week, giving Nate some of the particular areas for them to look at so we can have it consolidated for them. Okay.
Yeah, the truth is, if I might, we don't have, we're a pretty small crew and we're trying to cover a lot of territory, so we don't have the capacity at this point to visit as many places as frequently as we would like. But we do prioritize the ones that people bring to our attention. So please don't.
Yeah.
Any help is appreciated with.
Yeah. All right. And then Commissioner Donohue, final words.
I was just going to ask, and this is not a reflection to anything that we're talking about. On grants like this, are we in a position to be able to say, so if we were to negotiate with them and say, well, can we make an agreement like, well, they'll do so much for this amount, or is it just, like, can we say to use them specifically, let's do 3 cleanup days, from this time to this time? Is that appropriate for the grants, like to be written in with the grant?
This is our first kind of beautification one, just to be honest, like where it was like services. Usually it's for events, you know. So
Right.
had that actually come up. This is first time. I think maybe Nate, 1,500 isn't a lot, but Nate, what would that include? And I know you submitted a grant application, and I don't have it pulled up, and it was approved by the OANC. But maybe you could provide a little more information.
My intention with this proposal was that we would sort of do our paid park steward crew would do this sort of maintenance work on a rolling basis throughout 2026, using the requested funds to offset the cost that I mentioned. If the ANC wanted to stipulate for specific areas to be cleaned or on particular dates, or for wanting to organize volunteer events with Ward 8 Woods to support on certain dates, we'd definitely be amenable to that, but that's not what is written in the grant currently.
And I'm fine with the way it's currently written. I was just asking for general purposes, for like if we're able to, or we have that latitude to say, hey, if we're going to work together, can we, come to an agreement where at some point we can look back and say, did those three events, occur, and how successful were they given our, the money that we gave to the organization? That was all. I'm fine with the way it's written. I was just encouraging.
The proposal does specify that we will remove at least 8,000 pounds of trash and cut invasive vines from at least 30 trees. And that is data that I do track, and I can report back to you at the end of the year. Yeah.
Perfect.
And yeah, Commissioner Donohue, if we ever have another kind of, I don't want to say service because it's not really a service, but base, we could write in whatever, stipulations we feel are, necessary. So,
I do think that at some point we should maybe try to get to a point where we can follow up with those grants and see what the executables were and how successful or unsuccessful they were at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they were events, so they all submitted event reports. So you can reach out to the event, read the grant reports. And I think some of us attended a lot of these events too. I know you did one at the Arts Center. But yeah, you can read the event reports, grant reports, and some included like pictures and stuff. I think successful is kind of relative. Like
they do an event report after each event.
Absolutely, everybody has to do a report. Everybody has to do a grant report and receipts. So,
okay,
cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, Nate. We'll vote very soon. Let's go over to Councilmember Tran White's office. So I see Sheila Bond, Chief of Staff, and I see Fernando Smith, one of the constituent services team members. So I'm not sure who's gonna start or both.
Hey y'all, it is Fernando. I'm just here as a Ward 8 resident, but I can chime in if Fernando needs help, but he's on point tonight.
Oh, wonderful way to spend your Tuesday. Thanks.
I love y'all.
Okay, over to you, Fernando.
Smith, Councilmember Trayon White's constituent coordinator. I'd like to first just say, man, thank you all for participating in the process, man, and this is governance at its best. Nate, I'd like to say to you, because I've been seeing you at some of these events, and I've been seeing your work, and as I travel around the ward, I see your signs, and I know you're out there doing the work, and your organization is a pure example of how the community can step up, man, to help make our ward great. And I just like to, send you out that thing.
Thank you.
I like to go in that our office has remained focused on doing the work. So what does that mean? Well, that looks like, we're listening, showing up, and delivering real results for this community. Over the past week, and through the holiday season, we've been on the ground all across Ward 8, in our schools, with seniors, at tea talks, healing circles, food and toy giveaways, and we've been meeting with our youth, making sure that every resident's voice is heard and it's helping us to shape policy, and that we help to make the holiday season a little bright for every Ward 8 family. We've continued pushing for fair investment in recreation centers, public spaces, and youth opportunities because Ward 8 deserves growth that is visible, equitable, and long overdue. Some of our major wins today: Councilmember White passed legislation to officially establish the soul of the city business improvement district. This means that Ward 8 now has a new economic development tool designed specifically for our community. Because of this legislation, we move the soul of the city bid can begin work immediately and not wait until October, with the ability to collect assessments and start delivering services right away. This bid will focus on cleaner streets, coordinated safety efforts, business attraction, cultural activation, and job creation, helping Ward 8 look and feel like the destination it already is. We also passed legislation to expand the Anacostia Business Improvement District, extending its reach. We wanted to go up to Berry Farms, along areas adjacent to Joint Base Economic Boiling, Anacostia Boiling, near the fifth Sterling Gate, toward the future 11th Street Bridge Park, through the Bridge District and along Howard Road. This expansion ensures that as major projects and federal investments move forward, Ward 8 neighborhoods are not left on the sidelines, but are fully included in economic growth, planning, and opportunity. These wins don't happen by accident. They happen because residents stayed engaged and demanded progress. I encourage everyone to stay involved, support these bids, attend the meetings, continue to attend the meetings, and keep your voice in the process as we shape what growth looks like as we begin to move forward in Ward 8. We're not waiting on our turn. Ward 8 is building its future right now. We can see it as we move forward. A reminder that we have a community meeting this Thursday, January 8th. These meetings matter. This is where questions get answered and priorities get shaped. Please don't come alone. Bring a neighbor. Agency oversight performance hearings are coming up, and this is the public chance to see how district agencies are doing and where they need to do better. I encourage everyone to check the council calendar and follow the hearings that matter most to you. Budget season is also right around the corner. We'll soon begin fiscal year budget hearing, and Ward 8 residents, it should be loud, clear, and present when decisions are being made about where resources go. We have more to share on these hearings once we know when the mayor is going to transmit it to the council, which is usually in the spring. Finally, to stay up to date on everything that is working on and going on in our office, our meetings, our legislations, our hearings, and our opportunities to engage, please subscribe to our newsletter. I'll be putting that into our chat so that we can reach, so that you can continue to reach out. And I'm also going to put in our chat the office link tree where you can have all of our team members so that we can be accessible to you. So I'll be putting that in the chat now. Let me do that. And that's it for me. Sheila, if you got anything that you want to add, looking forward to hearing.
Yes, great job. Just one thing I want to add is this coming Monday, January 12th, there is a surplus hearing on the United Medical Center. I know that it is not in 8A, but it is a very important piece of property to Ward 8. This is the old United Medical Center site. And so the city is now turning its focus on what should be at that site. Is it senior living? Is it retail? Is it a new grocery store? Is it more affordable housing? And your voice needs to be heard at that meeting. Councilmember White will be there giving testimony because it is a hearing, and we're asking as many Ward 8 residents to come out and to voice their opinions and concerns about what this development should look like. We don't want government to tell us what should come to our ward, so we really want you to be there. So we have our own meeting this Thursday, the 8th, which is a broader meeting, but also on Monday, the 12th, the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development is having this surplus hearing. It's at 6. Oh, let me hold up. I just had it. I'm sorry. Yes, it's at 6:30 p.m. at the Arc, Monday, January 12th. So hopefully we will see all of your faces at this meeting on the 12th. And Chair White, and congratulations to the rest of the commission. As Fernando said, please, please, please get to us as soon as you can what your budget requests are so that Councilmember White can make sure that he includes that in his letter to the mayor.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that in like February, so we appreciate that. We also will reach out to about ranked choice voting and maybe seeing if the council member can want to partner on some of the educational sessions that we're going to host with BOE. Because I know whenever, his name is attached, more residents kind of will come out because it's going to be really important. So we'll reach out about that. Board of Elections
Absolutely.
out to all ANCs, just so folks know to say, can we help host town halls, not town halls, but like, workshops with your community so people can understand how ranked choice voting works. And I think they have like a little simulation or game or something that they play so we can understand that.
Absolutely. So I will commit our office to partnering with you all to do that because as you said, 2026 is going to be crazy. Not just because of ranked choice voting, but because there will be so many seats that we are filling between mayor, congressional delegate, half the council possibly. So just be on the lookout. And if folks had not heard, yesterday, Councilmember McDuffie resigned from his seat. So that means the council will appoint someone to fill that seat for the next 6 months. There are about 30 people that have either self-nominated or have been referred to the council for possible nomination. And we believe that by January 20th, the council will make a decision on that. And I share that because that is an additional person who should have some skin in the game for Ward 8. Councilmember White is our representative, but we have 4 at-large members who are also elected to represent us. So please pay attention to that appointment and the ensuing special election that will follow along with the June primary.
Thank you so much. That is really good updates. Commissioner Donohue, I see you have your hand raised, and everyone else. I also put the sign up for our listserv. We finally have a listserv up and running, but people need to sign up, like a Google listserv digest. And then if anyone else has questions for the councilman's office, please ask those now. And then Quentin will come to you right after that. Commissioner Donohue.
Ms. Buns, good evening. Happy New Year's. I know you were out there the day that a lot of our residents were standing in the cold for the ERAP program. Has your office done any follow-up with that, specifically to assure that the process that has been identified or misidentified, however you look at it, is being stayed on top of? I'll be honest with you, I have concerns about the whole process, but specifically how it's moving forward and timelines. It seems like there's a lot of issues with the third party entity that's sort of doing the review of the applications and stuff. It was said that all this was that the whole point of doing the line and everything was to get people to do stuff in person, but that's not the case. So everybody stood in line basically to get a date and then to get a phone call.
Right.
And if you could just follow up with the process, I think that there are some concerns coming through from constituents.
So the council member has been and is continuing to do that in having conversations with Dr. Pierre as well as with the mayor about not just the process but funding of ERAP because we ourselves, our constituent services team and the council member have had to guide some of our constituents through that process, as you said, which is not working. So the short answer is yes, we are continuing to stay on top of that. And when the council member has something more to report, we'll definitely let you know, but that is a priority for him.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, not seeing any more questions for Councilman Trayon White's office. Okay, and I do see something from the Mokers. He's staffing the mayor tonight at an event. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm off camera only because I am sick. But my name is Reverend Brian Lindsay Arendelle. I'm the Faith Community Liaison for Wards 5 through 8 in the Moker's office. And so myself and my counterpart, Charity Beam, who's with Wards 1 through 4, are sort of the latest iteration of what used to be the Mayor's Office of Religious Affairs. I may have met some folks at the Ward 8 clergy meetings, faith and clergy leader meetings, but I'm here to be a resource as well, and I will put my information in the chat. And so I do work closely with the Mokers in Wards 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I am a part of the same office. So I'm just filling in for Quentin tonight. He says hello to everybody, and of course, extending thanks and gratitude to everybody who participated in the mayor's 12th annual 5K on January 1st, Fresh Start 5K. And that's all that we have for right now.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Welcome to NCAA. If we have any questions for Ryan, please put those in the chat and we'll try to get them. All right, commissioners, let's go into our round of votes and then we can end it with just any updates and announcements. I do have some links I'm going to share in the chat for folks. But the first vote I want to, oh, hold on, y'all. I lost my little PowerPoint. Where's my PowerPoint? Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay, all right. Actually, Commissioner Foreman, do you want to give us a December finance readout? I think you're
Let's go.
I think you froze up a little bit.
Yeah, I did. Hold up. There we go. We ready?
Ready.
Can you hear me? Okay. For the ANC 8A monthly treasurer's report, this is December 2025. We're at an opening balance of $25,894.62. And we have a closing report balance of $25,844.41. And if you look at, we had down the bottom, there was a change there of $50.21 over. That was because we had to make an adjustment in the check that had not cleared, and we had to do a stop payment on it. So that'll show up on there. We only had 2 purchases, and those were both for a debit card, and they were both for Amazon, and they were office supplies, paper and cartridges with a printer. And that came with, yes, for the office printer. And one was $126.54, and the second one was $119.77. And like I said, we just had that administrative adjustment for one check. It was for printer.
Commissioner business
Commissioner
card.
Donohue.
Yeah. So just to confirm,
and that was $196.
Yeah, we had a stop payment on a check for business cards for one of the commissioners, for the record, for the notes. And so that money came back in our account because the check wasn't cashed. However, when you do a stop payment, the bank charges a fee. So it was a $50 fee for stop payment. Thank you, Ryan, for putting your information in the chat. Any questions on December? Our quarterly report for FY26 Q1, that is October, November, and December of 2025, is due February 16th. So we'll vote on the quarterly report in our February meeting. But any questions on December?
Yeah, so the check was returned because it wasn't cashed, but did we reach out to, I just want to make sure that they got taken care of, because there was some confusion whether she had gotten paid, I think, last time I talked to her.
Okay. That's a good question. Commissioner Foreman, do you know if we were able to pay the print company with another check, or maybe we can do a debit card payment or something if we haven't?
Yeah, we're going to reissue another check.
Okay.
The thing was, like I say, it was kind of confusing there. We saw an email saying you received payment, and then I guess you didn't get payment. So after we didn't receive the payment, so what we have to do now is just reissue another check and
Okay.
get it over there to her.
Okay, let's make sure we can, maybe Commissioner Donohue, you can work with Foreman and make sure she gets that check this week. Let me know when I can come and sign a new check. So that she can get paid, because we do not want people waiting on money, especially small businesses.
And the cartridges, did they go to the office or where? Because I'll get those installed as well.
We have them here, and we're going up there probably tomorrow and install everything. And we're going to go through some other things to see about secure, make sure the area is secure, because we can't leave paper and stuff up there, but we can get the cartridges installed.
Do you want me to meet you up there since I know how to do it?
No, I have no problem. I've had a couple of certifications and printers, so I can help.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we figured out, or Commissioner Donohue, rather, I'll say, figured out how to fix the printer. So, we didn't buy a new one. Just so we can put it on the record, we have a new secretary, and our laptop that I know Commissioner Moore was using was one that was given to us by the OAC, a Google workbook. So we may need to get another laptop for Commissioner Davis. So if we can link up to see what's the status on our laptops that we have, that would be good. And then, okay, commissioners, we need to vote on the schedule for this year. Can we vote that we will continue to meet the first Tuesday of every month, with the exception of April and August when we have recess, and November, because the first Tuesday of November is election, and I'm sure many of you might even be on the ballot for election. And so the first Tuesday of November, we want to have it on the second Tuesday of November after the election. So ANCAA has been having this meeting schedule. It also, we try not to have it on other Ward 8 ANCs too. So if someone could move a motion to approve ANCAA's 2026 meeting schedule for the first Tuesday of the month, with the exception of April and August for recess, and a new date for November.
I have discussion.
Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Moore.
I would like to move hybrid where we do meet in person.
Can we do the schedule separate from, because the meeting schedules that's we don't have, not a constitution, that by in the ANC bylaw regulatory statute we have to approve every year.
Okay.
Okay, so can you want to move the motion for the Commissioner Moore for the schedule?
No, Tom was on his way. I interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Commissioner Moore, I was actually just going to echo exactly what you just said.
Yeah, let's separate the two, because one is, one thing and one is the second. But Commissioner Donohue, motion, or whoever.
Okay. I'd like to move a motion to approve ANC's 8A meeting schedule for the first Tuesday of every month, with the exception of April, August, and November, with April and August being our vacation, and November moving to the second Tuesday.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis, can we get a second?
A second.
More seconds. Any more discussion? Okay.
I'm going to vote with the caveat, though, that we only do it with some in-person meetings. I know that you want to do a separate vote, but I want to make sure that's really important, I think, to constituents. So.
Yeah, we can do it separately, Tom, but I'm not going to combine those two votes, because one is, preference in person versus virtual. Some people said they didn't want to. We really need to have a real another conversation, but let's keep what's required. And if you want to vote against the meeting schedule, you can, or abstain, but let's keep what's required, because that's not, those are two separate things. Okay, so all in favor say aye.
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 I'm going to abstain.
One abstention, and any nays? Okay, vote passes 5-1-0. 0 being no. Okay, a vote 5 yes and 1 abstention, 0 no's. Okay, sorry, I was late. Okay, next vote is we have 2 grant applications. One came from the MLK Day Parade. We've supported them for $2,000. They gave us a budget of $10,000. We don't have that. You all know that we only have about $25,000 at all times. And then one for Ward 8 Woods for $1,500. So can I get if anyone has any more discussion about those grants? I know we talked about Ward 8 Woods, and y'all know there's a big event tonight in DC. And I think we do have Reverend Wanda Thompson, who's still on the call, who's a part of that planning for MLK stuff too. So if anybody has questions about the parade, the parade starts at Berry Farm and it comes down MLK.
I didn't get to see the. You were talking about something about Stuart and is that on the table? I just didn't get to see the application before the meeting. I forgot to look.
It's okay. Yeah, Stuart Anderson. So from the MLK Day Parade, I think it's like the 30th or 50th. Let's say 30th anniversary of the MLK Day Parade. It comes always down MLK. A has been a supporter, and it's usually for some of the heating stations that you see and the equipment and stuff they use. I mean, they have to raise like six figures for this parade every year. This year is starting in Berry Farm. This is actually important. It's starting in Berry Farm this year, y'all. It's not starting in Congress Heights in the Rise Center where it usually starts. And part of that is because we have St. Elizabeth's Hospital. So that part of MLK is not going to be able to be closed down, but it's going to start at Berry Farm, then come down MLK and throughout our ANC. So it is going to be starting in 8A because Berry Farm is in 8A, I think. Yeah, maybe some of it is 8C actually. Never mind. So it's starting right here and it's going to go through our community. So, and that's going to be on MLK Day. And the prayer breakfast that Reverend Wanda talked about is a Saturday before MLK Day that Monday. So I think that's the 17th and the 19th.
And what is it specifically for?
Which one? The grant?
Yeah.
Oh, to support the equipment costs for the heating stations and the bleachers and other stuff. Usually the ANC office will allow them to use it as a heating station too, where people can come in and get hot chocolate and coffee, where people who are in the parade generally come in and get. So they probably will reach out to us about that too. But
thank you.
Okay. No, good. Thank you. Good questions. Okay, Commissioner Davis, I see you're off mute.
Oh, sorry. I didn't have any questions.
Okay, do you want to introduce the 2 motions? We can do them separate for MLK Day Parade for 2,000 and 1,500 for Ward 8 Woods.
Okay. I moved. So we're still doing a contingent, right?
Yeah, for MLK, because we just need the full breakdown. So it's contingent.
I move that the AA Commission approve a grant in the amount of $2,000 to support the MLK Parade for permitted expenses related to parade operations, contingent upon completion and approval by the Office of the Attorney General for the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions.
Thank you. Can I ask for update for approval by the Office of ANC Attorney and not the Attorney General?
Oh, okay. Well, let me say the whole thing over.
Nope, you can just say that part.
Okay. For approval by the Office of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission.
Yes, a lawyer. Can we get a second?
I have one quick question.
Hold on, do it after the second. Let it go second. Commissioner Foreman?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. Discussion, Commissioner Donohue?
I'll second that motion. For the MLK parade.
What's our current?
Oh, go Commissioner
Donohue. What's our current budget for this line item? And because I know we have to sometimes adjust, and I was just wondering where this budget item is in relation to what we've budgeted for this.
That's a good question. We budgeted 11,000 for grants for the fiscal year. And with these 2, we should be up near I'm trying to pull it up y'all right now. With these 2, we should be up near about 9,000
left.
And but we need to look at the computer situation and see if anybody needs equipment, so we need to readjust our budget. But no, not 9,000 left, 2,000 left.
For the rest of the year though, right?
The fiscal year
Remaining
ends in,
budget.
the fiscal year ends in September.
Right. Okay. So we have 2,000 left for this.
Yeah, but I said I'm gonna estimate it's probably closer to 4, but I'm like being very, very generous because we only gave out that grant for oh no, never mind. These are the first grants of our fiscal year. Ha ha.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That we will have whatever 11,000 minus 3,500 is. My bad, y'all. It's late. Okay. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, vote passes unanimously. Okay, Commissioner Davis, over to you.
Okay, I move that the 8A Commission approve a grant in the amount of $1,500 to the Ward 8 Woods to support permitted expenses related to Ward 8A beautification projects.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
I hate the word beautification, just so you know.
Are you going to second Donohue?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Donohue. All in favor say aye.
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 Any abstentions? Any nays? Okay, and then the last vote, we did the budget, we did offices, we did a finance report. Not to vote, but I would like us to, because we made changes to the admin and ops consultant, I would like us, and said that we'll extend it through February. So everyone, we're trying to hire a consultant part-time, about 10 to 15 hours a month to help us with some ops and admin. I put the link to apply in the chat. You can reach out to your commissioner, but you can just go to bit.ly/, all caps, the number 8, the number A, and then admin, ADMIN, to get the description that the commission put together. So since we changed it, I think we should go ahead and go back and do another vote to the technical assistance fund with the changes. And so Commissioner Moore, would you be able to move that motion that we apply to the OANC Technical Assistance Fund to cover the cost of a admin consultant for 1 year in the amount of up to, what did we say, $20,000 for the year?
Okay, what was the technical assistance fund?
Yeah, I'm just calculating it because we said like 15 hours max a month, $23 an hour, which is, my calculator is saying 15 times 23 is only 300, but I know that's not. Can somebody do the math?
Clear it out. You gotta clear it.
Yeah, I'm old school. I have a calculator. Okay, I want to make sure we get the amount. My old school calculator not working, y'all. So let me use the computer.
And this is something that is above our, like, this is going to come from a different source, so it wouldn't be in our budget.
Correct.
Right. And is that funding already secured and approved?
So they had approved us last year for the technical assistance fund for a consultant. The technical assistance fund has like $100,000 or more in it, and ANCs can approve all from the all across the city. So once we apply for it and they approve us, they will give us additional money onto our budget just for that. Does that make sense? We can't use it for anything else but that. Does that make sense?
Right, but should we go and get that approval for the funding for it first before we approve?
We have to vote. We have to vote to apply for it.
Right, we're applying.
Part of the application process is showing you voted to apply for it.
So
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but we're not creating the position until we actually get it funded, right?
We're not hiring, until we get it funded. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Okay. Yes. So Commissioner Moore, let's just say an amount of $8,000 as a maximum, because my math is not working at all. But apply to the Office of ANC Technical Assistance Fund to support the admin consultant for the year with the max amount of $8,000.
Commissioner Moore moved to apply to the ANC Technical Assistant Fund to cover the cost of admin assistant for 1 year up to $80,000 max.
$8,000.
Yeah, give me that.
I want that job.
I want that one.
Okay, can we get a second to apply to the OANC Technical Assistance Fund for a consultant for the year with the max budget of $8,000?
I second
Oh,
Commissioner
did you say
Davis.
20? Okay, excuse me, 8,000.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Okay, we got a second by Davis. Any discussion? Any abstention? I'm sorry, all in favor say aye.
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 Any Thank you, Commissioner Redmond. Any abstentions? Any nays? Okay, vote passes unanimously. Any last minute updates from commissioners before we go? I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. The time is 9:24.
I want to
we
go
will
back to that hybrid
Yes, thank
conversation.
you.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we
Hold
like
on. Before we adjourn, for the record, and while Mr. Pressbury is still here, Commissioner Foreman, you didn't actually accept your nomination for treasurer. For the record, do you accept the nomination for treasurer?
Yes, I accept the nomination for treasurer.
Does commissioners accept that?
Yes.
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 All right. Okay. All right. The meeting will be adjourned. Commissioner Moore, do you want to go ahead and say your concerns about us going back to hybrid? And then I do think this is something we need to talk about for our legal meeting this month and see what that could look like.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's what I would like. I would like for us to discuss further what that looks like, even if it's once. Even if it picks up like once the weather gets better and when the weather is not, since the record shows that less people come out when it's cold. But I would like for the spring and summer to be considered the times that we do meet in person.
Yeah. So what we've done in B Pass with our hybrid meetings, for those who used to come, I know that Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Donohue have both come to in-person meetings before.
Always.
In-person meetings, forget that. But our location actually would still be DCHD if we want. They have offered that space to us in the new building. But also, Freya, where you all have space on Shannon Place, they have that big upstairs room too. That's quite spacious. The thing is, we would want to do hybrid so it could be accessible. And the government buildings already have the technology built in a little better than other places. And so when we do go back to hybrid, the computer that Commissioner Moore you have and the computer of Commissioner Foreman you have are actually our computers that was purchased for us for our hybrid meetings. So we would need to, talk about it and do some more budget changes. And then the Office of ANC also pays for a technician to come out and manage your meetings if you do hybrid. So you don't have to, so no single commissioner has to focus on that. They can participate, even though we had hiccups. So I think we should talk about like what that would look like, maybe coming back in April. I'm sorry, not in April, in May after our recess. So like, May through September, what hybrid meetings could look like. And that gives us some time to get it set up and contact DCHD or Department of Health to see who wants to let us use their office.
Excellent. I look forward to speaking to it.
How does that sound, Commissioner Donohue?
So that'll be on our next legal meeting?
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things I will say for the commissioners who do want to do this, I hope one of you, the two of you, not to spotlight you, but give you the opportunity to take leadership to figure out the whole thing, because there's a lot of work getting that hybrid thing set up. I'll tell you, and it takes a lot, like coordination with DCHD, OANC, finding someone, having them come, and our former commissioner, we had a techie on who kind of helped with that, because that's a lot for the chair. So I hope that one of the two of you, or do it together, can volunteer to really.
I don't mind helping out with that. If we can, since we're to discuss it outside of the community presence or our legal meeting, can we put that on the agenda to review what was discussed during that so the community knows?
Yeah, and then people can give an update. And so, give an update every month, because it'll take a couple months to get that together, to do it hybrid, to do a hybrid. Because what we want is two-way communication. We don't want to just have a little phone and know people can't actually hear good or ask questions. wanted to
I
have
do
it
it
as
every month. It's a pain, trust me, but it's well worth it. I think it's important that we get out in front of the community. So
yeah. So hopefully we come back in May with a new chair and a hybrid, and we can be rocking and rolling. Okay. All right, folks. So we'll see y'all next month. Hopefully people look at me, I'm taking my earrings off. We still
Ready.
Let me stop the recording. So hopefully we'll see y'all.
Those don't take your clothes off.
oh my, okay, I'm out of here. Goodbye,
It's your
everyone.
habit.
And hopefully we'll see you Monday at the OAG. Thank you, commissioners. Have a
Oh, wait,
good
what was
night.
that? I'm sorry. Repeat that again. What was it Monday?
Oh, I'm saying hopefully we can see folks on Monday when the OAG's office is not going to be the attorney general, but his office come out and speak with us about some of the slum properties and nuisance properties.
And what was the time and date? And the time again?
6:30 on Zoom. So I'll send it out via email, post it too, so folks can know. We'll put it in an ACC newsletter for those who subscribe. So
And what's the date of it again?
the 12th, Monday
Okay.
the 12th.
Okay.
Commissioner White, can you send it to our office as well? Because our newsletter goes out on Friday, so we can have it, we can advertise it there as well.
Okay, I'll send it out tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
You too. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone. Okay, my computer is
Good night,
freezing.
John boy.
Thank you. My computer is freezing up a little bit.
It doesn't want you to leave.
It does.